Spy Psychology, Team Fortress 2, Behind Lines by Jonto.
Spy is a sneaky.
Yeah?
He doesn't stab. But, you know, you've got to get behind players to do the stab. So, as a spy, you'll need to learn about how the enemy lines work in order to get behind them. So let's go over the 4 layers of the enemy lines.
Okay.
The front line, the back line, the behind lines, and the behind spawn.
Wait. Haven't you made a video like this before?
Nope, I have never made a video like this before. Starting with the front lines, this is where you find the main player classes like Soldier, Demo, Heavy, and Scout. The best way to identify where this is within an imaginary line that indicates where a majority of players are coming into contact with each other.
I actually really like this. As somebody who deals with coming into measure with, sword fighting and stuff like SCA status, I actually really like this. I like analyzing the lines and where certain players will hide.
This is where most of the fighting happens, and as a result, this is the hardest part to get past.
Preposterous!
Cloak before you round the corner to where you think the front lines are so you don't get spotted by half the enemy team at once.
Right.
Spy!
But don't assume that just because you're invisible, that the enemy team won't manage to kill you. So yeah, one really difficult part of getting behind lines is not getting hit by crossfire. You have 3 options here. 1, be really patient and wait for a good opening to get past. 2, brush up on your movement and prediction skills so you can evade the crossfire without getting caught. Or 3, just use a flank if there's one available because honestly, it's the best option in cases where you have it. Now, you're past the front lines, and we move on to the back lines. The back lines are where you'll typically find engineers, snipers, and retreating players. The back lines tend to have a lot of cover, which is really helpful to the aforementioned players.
Sure.
Looking for where cover is and potential engineer nests is the best way to identify where the back lines are.
I think when I go sniper, I think I'm positioning wrong because this makes sense. I think I'm in the back lines. No, I'm about where this sniper is. I think I'm flirting between backline and the back line.
The distance between the front lines and back lines isn't consistent, as it's mainly influenced by the map and the game state. But the back lines are always behind the front lines.
Weird.
But if you go beyond the back lines, you'll find yourself in the behind lines.
Sure.
Here, there are very few players, typically only the odd players making their way from spawn to the front lines, or that one lost free-to-play.
This is me some games.
Behind lines are simply the space between where the back lines end and the enemy spawn, unless the end of the back lines is spawn, like on the last point of most payload maps. But in the case where there's more space after that, you have the behind spawn. The place that's good for hiding since you almost never find anyone here. Wait, what are you looking at?
Can't even. I know I got my shit, okay.
Who is this? I'm so lost.
Oh, fuck, okay. Oh, I didn't know I had that mod on. Okay,
So, anyway, let's work backwards and give
So I'm so lost on the context here. I'm sure someone's going to be able to enlighten me on the meme.
some tips on what you can do with the various layers of enemy lines. The behind spawn is generally an excellent hiding place from enemy players hunting you down, as it doesn't take much to lose them since there's usually so many options for where you can go, so you can retreat to this area if you're being hunted or you just need to get a health pack safely. The behind lines, as mentioned before, are where you'll find players running from spawn to the front lines, and as a result, some of these players can seem like easy pickings. But be aware that since players here have literally nothing else to do, they'll be more aware of spies than normal, especially if they aren't new players. Also, due to the lack of noise pollution caused by combat,
this game actually does handle sound really well. Like, it's very chaotic and hectic once you're actually in it. I think the lack of sound actually really is additive to the game. I think it's really good.
decloaking near someone can be a bigger risk than normal, since they're much more likely to hear it and react.
Right.
If you're going to decloak near someone in the behind lines, do it at a safe distance so you have a chance to get away in case they hear it. Also, sometimes you may notice that the behind lines is completely vacant of any players. Well, that may be because thanks to the engineer, the enemy team has unlocked the power of
Teleporter.
Teleportation.
How do you deal with this? Well, a common strategy is just to walk to their spawn and sap and shoot the teleporter entrance. This may seem like a lot of effort, but depending on how big the behind lines is, Getting rid of the teleporter drastically increases the amount of time between players respawning and reaching the front lines.
No, this actually makes sense. I didn't even think about taking out the teleporter. Like, it makes sense, right? I think I've done it a couple times. Think is the keyword. No, like, the logic here makes sense, especially because you're able to just go so deep into the back line. And, yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. I really like that.
Not only opening up more opportunities to kill lonely players, but also taking a ton of pressure off of your team. As a very good sentryman once said, sentries get kills, dispensers save lives, and teleporters win games.
Yeah, makes sense.
Seriously.
I don't know who said that. Probably Sun Tzu or someone. But, like, yeah, like, that makes a lot of sense. I feel like taking out the entry teleporter is probably the better option, especially if the team is actively engaged, right? Because your team on the front line will be able to, even if it's in the enemy backline, be able to destroy the exit teleporter, right? But if you're a spy and you can get around to destroy the entry teleporter, that can really throw their engineer off because they would have to go all the way back to spawn and get them out of position, getting them out of the fight, right? I think this is where spy comes into the quote-unquote support role, or at least this is like the quote-unquote support mentality for spy, right? I could totally, yeah, because, I mean, usually you see spy, and it's just like, oh, get funny, big earner, ambassador kills Lamau, right? But this is the big brain support plays they can do.
A good engineer maintaining a teleporter can carry his team, so take that thing out if you get an opportunity. Unless you decide to instead take the enemy teleporter to get close to the engineer and take out the entire nest.
Wait, can you do that? What? You can do this?
This nicely transitions into the backlines. The backlines can hold some particularly good targets.
Oh, using the teleporter, not taking the teleporter.
People often use the backlines as a retreat option, so as a result, some players are lured into a false sense of security there.
Right.
You'll sometimes catch out low health players looking for a health pack, and since Spy can see the health of enemy players, don't forget that Spy has a gun! Snipers are often really
I don't believe you. We keep saying that the spy has a gun. I don't believe you.
tunnel visioned with being scoped in, so they can often be easy pickings. And even with a Razorback, they tend to forget that Spy has a gun. Oh wait, I spent that joke already.
I like it.
Engineers may seem like easy pickings, but good engineers are typically rather spy aware. So without going into too much detail, you're best to go for them when they're distracted, usually by your own team.
Damn it, spy!
Okay, so for the front lines. Players here can be pretty distracted by the more immediate threat in front of them. Distracted players in the front lines are generally your best targets, but be aware of other players seeing you before you get the stab and shooting you to prevent said stabbing.
Right.
Spy!
Well, so this is where the big earner comes into play, because if you see the soldier, you can get the soldier, zoom to the heavy, get the heavy, zoom out. Because you even with big earner, you'd try to go for, even if the engineer doesn't notice you immediately, you get the stab off on the heavy, engineer bops you even with speed boost, so you're kind of hoping to serpentine away from his rockets. Like, I feel that, I mean, I like that. I like that example. The fact that there's like actual like play you can do with that scenario, like in what situation would this be the best play, or what situation would that not be the best play? I like it.
Also, after you get the stab and everyone turning around and hearing the scream of your victim.
Yeah, that too.
In situations like this, you'll really need to rely on your movement and cloak to get out of there. In some cases, players may be so distracted with fighting your team that you'll be able to backstab multiple of them in a row. Which, yeah.
The comp, the funny comp. I thought it was good. I think this series is really great to kind of reflect on how I'm playing Spy and how I could be playing Spy, like how to get better at it. I very much like this, and I'm very off the map. Oh, I've done that. But it's really cool to be able to see this and be able to reflect on it. It's very cool to be able to, like, you know, what works, what doesn't work, how could I do better, analyzing the front line, back line, behind line, that kind of no man's land, and then behind spawn. It's kind of interesting to really be able to make a spy with the hate pyros. Oh boy, do I have a thing? Do I have a revelation for you? Because I'm a back burner pyro main. I am filth. But thank you everyone for watching this. I really do appreciate this. This was a really interesting analysis of the battlefield of TF2, and I can't wait to see what else comes from this series. Definitely go ahead and watch the original, especially if you have not. Thank you everyone for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.